growing up in Croatia, I paddock bashed a lot of old cars. Most of those cars were the European cars made in the Eastern Bloc countries. Later on, when I come back to Croatia, I travel through the whole Europe, I start to notice that people more and more, they were driving those Volkswagens. So that's when idea stuck. So when I come back to Australia back in 2009, all what I wanted to do is just build a Beetle. I've done the V8 cars and stuff like that, and I just wanted something with a bit more attitude. So that's where I got the idea to do the VW.
Zelko came to me with an idea of a car that he's had a vision of for some time. A Beetle with a certain style, the wheels, the size of the wheels, and the look was very prominent in his head.
First, when we started building the car, I realised that all what I wanted out of the car to do, all the modification to be done in a subtle way, that it won't change or compromise the original look of the Beetle. Once I purchased the wheels, all we had to do is build this car from the ground up.
The wheels that he chose were a little bit of a challenge for a Volkswagen because they weren't meant for a Volkswagen, but if there's a wheel, there's a way. The drilling of the stud pattern was the easy part, but making the offset of the wheel fit under the Beetle to the look that Zelko wanted was the challenge. The wheel was 8-inch wide in the rear end, so we had to actually make the steel guards to suit. There was no way he was going to have any part of fiberglass guards on this car. That would have been the easy way out.
The one thing that I always said from the start, go, it's the one thing that we won't be using any fiberglass on the car. It was a no-go. So every modification that was done in the metal. Now, a lot of people could say it could be much harder, but what we decided to do is go just with a pure metal, as it was done from the day one.
So the challenge was to make VW steel guards, and to do this I had to chop up 4 guards to make 2 guards for the rear end to cover the 8-inch tyres that he had under the rear end.
Another drastic change that I wanted to make to the vehicle was manufacture the running boards to be in a really tight radius and scribed to the front guards and the rear guards.
The side steps were made out of a heavy grade steel so that in case someone did stand on them, they weren't going to be dented. They were quite hard to work with because of the thickness of the metal, but they blended into the guards nicely and we're very happy with that. The rear bumper bar had to be widened by 100mm to suit the width of the rear guards so that it had the appearance of more of a stock but fatter rear end.
And a lot of people won't even notice it, that the car is wider at the rear. That's where the vehicle really got the name and the rego, Arsch, which is mean a big backside.
Zelko wanted a certain style of dashboard. He wanted recessed gauges. It was open to what sort of gauge, but I felt the autometer gauge was going to suit this car. I cut out the original dashboard and then laid in a section of dash to suit the 5 gauges that he chose. It ended up with quite a nice smooth hot rod style finish, which is what I think he was after.
One thing I always wanted to do, have the leather interior in the car. Now, some people might say it's right and wrong from the era that car come from. But like I always said, I wanted a custom car. Now, in order to do that, I sourced the leather that I thought was going to be best to suit the vehicle. It had to be something very simple, that it's not going to age, that it's going to be just Hue Classic.
It's a very, very nicely presented car. It's been professionally put together in every respect. The body is exquisite. You cannot fault it. The underneath, where people usually don't see it, unless you got it here on a hoist, that is as good as what you see on top. Mechanically, very strong engine, good gearbox, the stance of the car, it's perfect, it's not too low, it's not crazy, it's very drivable. It sits nicely, the body fit and finish, it's perfect. All the gaps, the door gaps, the bonnet, the engine lid, all the windows, perfect match, perfect fit. This is where cars win at shows. If you have perfect fit, doors, and underneath as good as on top, you got no worries. It's a winner, and this is a winner.
We've been very happy with the finish of the car. The completion has come together. It seems to be quite well accepted at a couple of the shows that Zelko'S taken it to so far. It's just good to have a few fresh ideas out there and show people what's available in trim and paint finish and a different style of car.
Knowing I have put my heart and soul into restoring an object that it's a classic car design icon from Deutschland provides me with enormous satisfaction.